let the habits of my past stop me from this metamorphosis. New year, new me. New year, new me. What separates us?
Yes, brother. Good to see you, man.
Guess what,
Good
man?
to see you.
You good?
Yeah, man. Grab a seat, man. Grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat.
See.
The desire to evolve.
Grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat. Let's go high, man. Let's go high.
Oh, you're on here?
Yeah, let's go high.
Okay. See.
So I've just got my motivational speech talking. Get this off here. So welcome to another episode of Breaking Bread. We got our guys. This is another episode of Breaking Bread. Right? This is episode 3 now. So again, welcome to another episode of Breaking Bread, a safe place to share positive ideas around personal human development. I'm your host, Horace Jones, the Game Changer. This is your game-changing moment. It only takes a moment to change the game. Today we're going to cook. Today's recipe is, as you can see, is a cashew chickpea. This is like the new rice, guys. Quinoa, alright? Quinoa salad. And my guest today is Barrington Reeves, and I just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Barrington Reeves, 55. Worked in, born and grown in Stretford. Been around Old Trafford, Moss Side, black community since about the age of 10, 11. Currently just finished working at SMS coaching in Failsworth, where as a SEND officer, working with special educational needs and teaching, PSHE and some science. But I've had a long and varied career. Started off working as a pharmaceutical chemist.
Wow.
So I went grammar school, college, uni, and that my kind of like ambition was to work in chemistry, and I got that inspiration from my dad, because he used to make like Dettol and soap and all that stuff in the garage, and I was kind of curious and inquisitive about what's that, what are all them coloured liquids and stuff like that. So
Nice.
that kind of like put me onto that. And so after finishing college and went uni, I got a job in Altrincham with a company called Bayer. They make dye stuffs, but they're a large multinational German company, and they're known for paracetamol.
Wow.
They made the original paracetamol. From there I've moved. I've been Coventry, Nottingham, Glasgow, Hertfordshire, back to Manchester. So for the first 15, between 10 and 12 years of my career as such, I've worked in laboratory environments. The last place I worked was AstraZeneca, which was the old ICI. So we was working in safety of medicines. So all the stuff around Corona now, the stuff that they're going through to kind of validate the vaccine and how that works. I used to work in a department that used to work on validating new drugs. So stuff like atenolol, which is a heart for angina, propanolol. Oh, there's lots of different things. Cancer drugs, lots of different things.
That sounds interesting, man. Definitely
It was mind blowing, because the stuff that they share with the public is about 5% of the stuff that they have.
Okay. So basically, for what's going on now, they're telling us, like I said, they're not telling us the full story.
It's tested. Well, it can't be. The FDA and the MRHC have kind of validated it and says, right, they can give it to the public. But what they don't tell you is, well, they are saying it, if you're listening, that they still have to continue testing it because it's new, they don't know how it's going to work in humans properly. So you might take it and you have a reaction. A next person might take it and have no reaction.
So what we're talking about here now, I mean, in case the viewers don't understand, is I think Barrington we're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine and basically how he sees it and how
it's the process, because they have to validate the process for any drug vaccine to be distributed to the public. So I'm just saying I've worked in that kind of environment where they do the actual testing before it gets sent to the public. Through my own trials and tribulations, got myself in bother and went up to Scotland. And I was up there for like 2 years, which was different eye-opening experience, because one, I suppose the idea was Scotland, it's a racist place, but I didn't get treated in that way. And the people are extremely friendly, overly friendly, old people, everybody. Do you know what I mean? And it showed me that, I suppose, if we're talking about black folks and black communities, once you broaden your own horizons and you have different experiences, you come back and you find life isn't so small.
Yeah. Come out the comfort zone, I suppose.
Yeah, you have to explore different things, to see different things, to understand different things. So like I've had all these experiences working in what you would call professional chemical private enterprises, and then through my own messes and stuff like that, I...
1 second, guys, keep talking about it, keep talking.
I ended up getting myself in bother, you know what I mean? Ended up getting myself in bother, and it kind of...
Sorry about that, guys, just the door knocking there. You can't stop these things, I suppose.
It was a life defining moment at 25 where, you know, lost my life. And I can only say by the grace of God, and at that time I wasn't religious or anything, that I'm here. And that's kind of fueled a journey of self-exploration. So I ended up working doing voluntary work at the old Juicy High on Lloyd Street and up on Daisy Bank. Where I met this this young man here. He got involved with Paul, who was one of the tutors and teachers there, and he had an organisation called Kemetic Educational Guidance that kind of supported black folks to kind of look at their own history and evolution and personal development, and I kind of like jumped on that strong, do you know what I mean? And it kind of formed a foundation from having that.
These things happen, man, these things happen.
From having that, it's kind of like a rung on a ladder. So I'd been to the very bottom, like nearly deading, and coming back from that, and it's like, right, I have to find me. So that was the first rung. And then from working within Kemetic Educational Guidance and doing all the African studies and books and being introduced to some absolutely amazing people, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, James Small, Tony Browder, all the guys that are, what's it called, Hidden Colours? All them guys that are on there, like I've had the actual opportunity to meet with these people and
good experience,
and converse with these people and get insights about different things, which was, I suppose at the time, it was just part of that journey. From then, there talking about Africa and African traditions, and I suppose one thing that's prevalent is that a lot of black people talk about Africa and going back to Africa. But if you're really interested, go and visit. Literally, go and visit. See what it's like for yourself, and then come back and understand what you've experienced in relation to what you're in. So then I actually started practicing an African tradition, Ifa, which is Yoruba tradition. And there are practitioners, chiefs, you know, it's quite prevalent if that's what you're looking for. And that was an eye-opener into African culture, proper traditional culture.
That's good.
I was practicing that for like 7-8 years. I got twins, so in Yoruba, we have Ibeji, which are twins. So my children have Yoruba names. But the progression from that was that because I was always seeking, I ended up meeting a guru.
So what's the, first of all, tell the people basically what is a guru? For some
A
people
guru
that don't know.
in Hindu tradition, a guru is a self-realized, God-realized person. They've kind of, they know everything they need to know about who and what they are. And in knowing that, they're fully evolved. So they have no ego. They don't have, do you know what I mean? They're like enlightened beings, so you could equate them to being like modern day Jesus or Moses, those types of people. But it's a process that human development, that we're here as humans to develop that wholly and solely. That's the purpose of being human, to realize yourself, because nothing in the universe is separate. Everything's one. And because everything's one, what's out there is in here. You know, I'm not a Christian and I'm not a Bible reader, but you know, Jesus says the kingdom of heaven resides within. So if you go within and you have the right kind of processes, you can find, or you can unravel that self that everyone's saying they want. But it's a long, hard road, and it's uncovering all your shit, literally all of it.
Well, when it comes to personal development, it's personal development is the thing where it never stops, does it? I mean,
No.
When you think about until when you die, it's a constant roller coaster. And just like you said in it, to be able to really and truly to get you know yourself, that's the thing where I think we all need to start looking to doing it, to look inside ourselves.
It's more, I suppose it's become a little bit more, there's a lot more awareness about it now than when I was growing up. You know, you went to school, you went college, you went uni, you got a job. By the time you're 30, you've got this idea that you found your missus or your husband, you got your 2.4 children, and you got this job that's kind of boxed off. And life does not work like that. You can have all the plans in the world and plan them in such a meticulous way, but life has a way. Life, when I say life it's in its entirety has a way of showing you, just because you say you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. Life shows you who you are. So it's like looking in the mirror. That's the simplest analogy. It shows you evidence. With the evidence, this is who you are. This is where you're at. And if there's no recognition of that, the moving forward can become complicated.
Definitely. Guys, I want to say hello to a few guys. So have we got any viewers watching now? I want to say hello to a few people. Anyone we need to say hello to?
There's a lot, so no.
Yeah, come on, give me some names. Let's say hello to a few people. Let's go.
Alex McKindy, Marvin Bell, Emma Wilson, and then like the other ones from before.
So again, guys, I want to say thank you for tuning in. This is Breaking Bread. We're going to start cooking now, guys, because I think we're nearly 15 minutes in. Again, this is Barrington Reeves. So far, he's just been giving us a little insight of how his life's been. And it sounds like he's had a great, interesting ride. One of the things that I want to try and talk to him about is how he sees education. Because I have 4 kids of my own. And I feel, like a lot of things have evolved apart from education. I think education is still the same. I think the way children have been taught is still the same. That concept has not been changed, where, you know, the modern car's been changed, the mobile phone's been changed, just life itself has been changed. So I think that when it comes to education, the same concept is like, you know, that they're trying to make everybody fit in a box. If you don't fit in a box, then you can't pass the exams. Where I believe in that there is 4 different styles of learning.
There are 4 different styles of learning. Yeah.
So, like, for example, like me, I see myself as I learn by watching. That's how I learn. So if you stood in front of me and goes, Horace, do X, Y, Z, D, D, blah, 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 you might think I'm not paying attention, but unless you show me, that's how I'm learning. So obviously, like I said, there's 4 learning styles. So if you're teaching everybody to learn one way, that kid might be failing, but really and truly, he's not failing. He's failing because you're teaching him wrong. So this is the concept I want to talk about. So we're going to transfer into the kitchen, where I can start cooking and we can carry on with this conversation. So, do you want to bring your chair into the kitchen, everyone in there? To bring it in the back.
Sure, you have enough room in there.
We've got enough room. We've got enough room. Yeah. So again, guys, I'm going to tell you about the recipe today. Today's recipe, again, we're still trying to cook with, again, herbs, spices, rather than trying to come away from the traditional spices. Only because I want to show you something today. Again, cashew nuts, right? We've got salt in there. It says 0.4 grams. Now remember, you should only have 5 grams of salt a day. So already that's telling me that if I ate a pack of these, yeah, that's enough salt that my body needs, okay? So I'll go for a few things. This is the quinoa. The quinoa, again, has salt. Everything you see here has salt in it. The chickpea has salt in it. So the concept, guys, we need to watch our salt intake massively, because sometimes we don't realize that all these foods added together on a one-day basis, our intake of salt is a lot. So we need to watch what we're eating. The reason why I've gone to quinoa is because I'm trying to come away from the modern rice, okay? Because the rice, it bloats you up, especially white rice, it's bleached. So I'm trying to go back to the concept of having things where it's still light rice, but I'm still getting the proteins, I'm still getting the vitamins, I'm still getting the minerals with all the stuff I'm cooking, but I'm trying to come away from the traditional style of eating things like your rice and your pasta. There is carbs, there's good carbs and there's bad carbs. So the concept is you need to know what your good carbs are and what your bad carbs are. So I put my chickpeas in here because I need to cook them off. I'm not putting any seasoning in them, I'm just going to cook them off basically. I'm going to cook the chickpeas off and then we're going to crack on. So again, Barry, I want to talk about the concept of education. Like, do you think education has evolved or not? What do you think?
Oh gosh, no. It's evolved in small ways in relation to how they work with children and not even children and young people, with human beings, because it's like a graduation. You go to primary school and you're supposedly getting the basics, but if you've got issues from an early age, yeah, how do those issues impact on you accessing and taking on that learning? Because in primary school, the education is a lot more interactive. When you go to secondary school, it's more academic, it's more head-based knowledge. When you go to college or uni, unless you're actually doing practical subjects, it's more head stuff.
So what do you think about, like, the concept I was kind of like getting at was the way, like, for example, like, okay, when you went to school, I guess you sat in front of a desk.
Yeah.
Teacher was on the board and the teacher go da 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 da. I mean, you sat there and you wrote notes. Okay. Now the concept I'm trying to say, what I trying to see in my head is like, if you think about the car, how the car has modernized over years.
Yeah.
The car, like now, you can get in a car now. You don't need to push the start button. You don't even need a key. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's modernized, okay?
Yeah.
Think about the concept of
School's not modern. Education, the educational system in and of itself has not modernized. What they've done is tweak parts to accommodate those that were deemed on the extremes, the hard to reach and the disadvantaged. Yeah. So if you did sociology, it'll tell you how the 1944 Education Act described education. Education in the beginning was for public school people, posh people, and people with money. It wasn't for the likes of us, in inverted commas. Yeah? So it's like the idea of education has two meanings. One, its original meaning, its Greek meaning, means to draw out, and to draw out from within you. But the education that we get is education that is put into you. And if somebody's educating you, they're only educating you for their own benefit. I'm not saying it hasn't got it's got its advantages, but it's how you utilize that. And school, now and then, I would say school has become a lot more complex, and with the complexity there are a lot more gaps. So children and young people's growth and development is measured by their educational attainment, which is GCSEs and NCFE functional skills and that kind of stuff, and you graduate that way.
So, sorry to cut you there. I was thinking about this as well. Like, what would you say would be a good thing for students to be learning on this day and age? Like, we're talking about it's
2021.
Yeah, like so. If you was basically like, say for example, you was self-teaching your kids. What main things would you concentrate on teaching your kids? Like what things do you think as an adult kids should be learning in schools?
Who they are.
Or parents. Okay.
Who they are.
Okay.
What that potential, what that possibility is within them. Give them things that help them to learn about who they are. And when I say who they are, I don't mean just the physicality, how the mind works. I suppose I'm the aberration because I don't know. But the twins, as much as I was working here and doing stuff within the community, my twins were supported in developing who they are through this guru. So they had not just the physical education, but they had what you would call like a spiritual education. And you can see the difference because it allows children to be seen as equal beings. Yeah. What I've learned as a parent is there's no point in me telling my child do this, do that, do the other, when children learn by example. What you show them, what you do, how you speak, how you carry yourself, they learn through that. And as they grow older, they start questioning, yeah, what's my mum saying to me? What's my dad saying to me? Why, you ain't even been here, so how can you tell me A, B, C? And then the teachers in the school may have come from similar backgrounds. They've all got issues, but the way in which the children interact in that example is that they will show you your stuff. Unconsciously, they show you your stuff. And if you ain't self-reflecting, if you ain't looking at that development, I know they have professional development and, you know, self-reflection, but if you're not actually dealing with your stuff internally, education can be very, very tricky, because it's one thing telling somebody about chemistry theoretically sitting at a desk, but this is chemistry. This is chemistry. How do you blend all these different foods to bring out different flavors? What is the chemistry of that onion, them chickpeas, the quinoa? how do they function in your body? Your body knows. Your body knows when you take in something, it has its own internal process, and it's about recognizing that. How does that work? So, you know, giving people an opportunity to kind of find out about these life processes and how they actually work from an early age, and then at least they have a foundation in which they can work with, and then everything else is a building block from that. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think about like like some of the things that I teach my kids, and I'm gonna try and enforce it more, is things like money.
Right.
Now, I don't think money is talked about enough. Like, for example, like letting kids know about saving, letting kids know about investment, letting kids know about, like, right now, the biggest thing right now is cryptocurrency and stocks and shares.
Yeah.
So I feel like also blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is basically what we're moving to. So right now, the next, I don't know, down to the T, I don't know, yeah, maybe five
10
years, there'll be no more money. There'll be no literally money. So the money will be basically
not even 5-10 years. Next year.
Well, yeah, say next year. So the concept is, if you're not teaching your kid these kind of concept of what's in front of them, and I don't think schools, well, normal schools might be doing it, but maybe the grammar school might be teaching that, or the schools where you have to pay something. The everyday schools are not giving the kids the equipment that they need to really truly venture.
I suppose because you see, everything is within its own sphere of influence. So if the society is a capitalist society and it wants to create more wealth for itself as a system, what would you do? You'd get everybody thinking about stocks and shares, investments, currency. Why? Because you're taking your money and investing it in somebody else's team. They've already got the game sussed. You're a starter. Yeah. Whereas, you know, and I got this kind of definition of money years ago. In Jan Levanzan said, money is my own natural energy yielding. So whatever you put your energy into, you'll get paid. Okay, but everybody's got this thing about making it physical, and 90%, I suppose the thing, 90% of human beings function on about 10% of their intellectual or their capacity.
And why is that? Why is that?
Because the process of education, it nullifies and suppresses creativity and intuition. It nullifies that. It teaches you a linear process, a left brain linear process, A, B, C, D. So if I do this, then the result is going to be that. But life doesn't work in a linear way. It never has, and it never will. Life has its own process, and what the concepts and the ideas that they have in relation to education, it's not teaching you about your whole self. I mean, you know, I've known the Guru Ramana Devi for like 15 years, and in them 15 years I'm literally scratching the surface. 15 years I'm scratching the surface, and in just scratching the surface, it's like these things that are in you that you already know, but they're not being nurtured. So practical stuff, cooking, how do you take care of yourself? Parents ain't got time to take care of the children anymore.
And why is that as well?
Because they've got this idea that, woo, I've got to make money.
Okay.
I've got to do this, and I've got to do that, and I've got to do the other. And,
So,
you know, it's not a thing where I'm saying we all have to make our way in life and pay our bills and do that kind of thing. But the concept of, when I was growing up, my parents weren't just my parents. It was people who were my good friends. people my family knew.
So the community.
The community was your parent. So everybody, whether they knew you or not, if they knew your name, if they knew your father's name or your mother's name, they were on you. They were on you. They'd look out for you. They'd chastise you. We used to get beaten, and I know it's a discussion in our community right now about abuse and the different levels, but we were, if we look at it from now, we were abused.
Definitely.
Like, whoa, like absolutely off the cuff, yeah? You'd get beat if you was bad at school. You'd get beat when you got home. If you went out and you was doing naughtiness, you'd get beat in the community. That was a reality. Whereas kids now think, you can't tell me nothing because you don't know and you can't. But if the system makes you an individual, it means you've got no ties to anything or anybody. Yeah? And if there's something that you don't like, you'll go against it. So education isn't just this thing of academic qualifications. Education is a life process and it never stops. So if you're not into that, what's actually happening now and how that impacts upon what I've done and where I'm going, it can become confusing. And there's trends. The big trend is cryptocurrency and investments and stocks and shares. That's the big trend. We'll give it a couple of years and it'll be something else.
Yeah, but what do you think about, like, for example, for me now, the way I see things from my perspective, guys, all I can say, guys, always do your own research. Don't take my word, don't take Barron's word. Always do your own research when we talk about these things. So I believe that the pension age now, I think, is 65, the pension age. Okay,
70 for men.
Well, I didn't even know that. There you
What's
go.
that? And
Yeah.
what
So
do you
the
mean,
pension age
65
is,
what?
is basically before you can get your money from the government is now 70 years old. Now, how many of us are going to live to 70? Let's say a few of us can live to 70. Now, it also depends on your wealth. On your health. So it depends if you've been looking after your body. Are you going to live that long? And if you are living that long and you've not looked after yourself, that means that for most of them times you're going to be sick. This is why, guys, food is so important. Okay. But going back to the point I was trying to make was now, who's to say by the time I'm 70, pensions exist? Pensions might not be existing. So if they do exist. Now, I was speaking to my dad the other day, and he was letting me know that his pension works out to be £700 a month. Now, £700 a month for most of us, that's just paying your bills. That's not you, but that's probably paying your rent. Depends on where you live, or you might be paying your mortgage if you don't own your house. So what happens if you've still got to feed yourself? You've still got to pay electric bills. You've still got to pay light bills. So absolutely, that means that pension that you've worked for can't cover your bills. So that's why I'm saying to people now, you have to have investments. You have to have maybe not more than that one job. You have to kind of like, there's a saying, do what others won't do today so you can have a better tomorrow. Or put the work in today so you can have a better tomorrow. So the concept for what I'm going back to, whether it's the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or whether it's blockchain technology, is the concept of, if you're not getting with the times, you are going to get left behind, because there's going to be changes. And if you haven't got the criteria to evolve with what's going on around you, you're going to get left behind. It's go on, sorry.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because if one thing, this pandemic has shown one thing, that people have had to look at themselves and look at what they're doing. Yeah. I remember years and years and years ago. So they've had to up the pension age to 70 and 65 for women. Yeah. Why? Because the government weren't generating enough tax dollars, so that if you understand then who and what you are in relation to the system, you are an economic unit. Yeah. So I'll go and work for A, I'll get paid this, and then when I'm 65 or 70, they'll give me a handout. Whereas if you utilize your life and your skills, yeah. I remember I worked at Courtaulds in Staffordshire, yeah, and it was an old guy. He was 70 odd, yeah, and he was a plant process manager, yeah. He'd retired, but they asked him to come back because he had so much skill, so much knowledge, so much whatever.
1 second, guys. So yeah, again, the quinoa, it's starting to dry out. That's what I want. So again, maybe another 2 minutes. That's all I want it there. I want it to be dried out. The chickpeas, again, I'm just cooking these off a little bit, so I need to feed off the soft enough, and I can move on. Yep, so they're I'm happy with that. They're cooked, so I can take these off now. And I can transfer to my cashew nuts. So my cashew nuts, all I want to do, sorry there, but I want to brown them off now. I almost forgot this, guys.
They had to come up, Paula.
Say again?
They had to come up, Paula.
Hi, Mum. How you doing, Mum? So again, today the shopping list was £12 odd, but that's because I bought some of this stuff, doubled some of the stuff. But we're cooking on a budget. So again, this recipe, guys, is still under a £5. Apart from the quinoa, because I bought it organic. Now, sometimes, guys, don't always run to organic to thinking, yeah, it's all about organic. Because sometimes, me personally, the other products is just as good. But anyway, I bought organic. I don't know why. I think I just picked it up anyway. But we're still cooking under a budget. So again, guys, the meal is still under a £5. All right. I'm going to be sharing it out for 3 people. So again, what I've got here should cover more than 3 people under a £5. Again, it's got all the minerals that we need. Again, very colourful. And I've changed. I heard that this is the best salt you can get. Yeah. Again, if you guys didn't know any better, let me know. But again, I've been told to invest in this salt here, so I'm invested in this. And yeah, so sorry about that, Barrington. So
Nah, it's calm. It all fits in. Do you know what I mean? Because it's, if you look at education, like the chemistry of food. I mean, I was listening to a thing some weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, so the type of food. I know, you know, a lot of people are changing, becoming vegetarian or vegan or whatever. And then there's lots of discussions about vegetarians and vegans and animals and blah, blah, blah. But it's education. If you knew about how...
So what are you, if you don't mind me asking, what are you vegetarian? Are you media?
I would say I'm more vegan, but I've started indulging myself in some fish.
Okay.
Which is a bit... I was vegan for a long time.
Okay.
I became vegetarian when the twins were born, and they're 21 now, so... And it seems like a long time, but it's not, because what happens is in your body, the food that you eat, your body acclimatizes to the foods that, the types of foods that you eat. So in Caribbean, African communities, diabetes, arterial sclerosis,
wow,
heart disease,
wow,
angina, high blood pressure,
wow,
all these things are because, one, because of the types of food we eat.
Fried chicken.
Sorry again, guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but tell us basically the concept of what that means, because
So
like right now, like I'm trying to change, because I grew up on these, like my mum is on the channel now, so my mum would tell you, I grew up on these. This is chicken seasoning. So when I was cooking chicken, I'll have chicken seasoning, all-purpose seasoning, black pepper, salt, probably even barbecue sauce up in there, curry powder, and every single one of these has salt. Sorry,
but if you're focusing on the salt, because like I say, I've had examples of things where you can have a series of constituents, but it's what you put into it. You can change the very nature of the things that you're working with. Like, you know, I don't know, a pepper. No two peppers are the same. No two cashews are the same. No two anythings are the same. So if you cook with love, and you know whether that's, the flavour changes. There's a guy, what's he called? Some Japanese guy. Oh God, Emoto. He did these experiments with water, and it was like, wow, that you can speak a certain way. You could speak lovingly to the water, and when they analysed the water, the structure of the water was totally different than if you screamed at it. So it's showing you that there's this education that they're saying, academic, academic, academic. But they're not teaching you about you, they're not teaching you about the process of life and how that works. So there's, both educations are relevant and real. But if you've not got a foundation, you start learning about what people will call that spiritual process as you get older. But it's important to have some of that when you're younger, because it's naturally in young people anyhow. They're naturally curious. So one of the things is questioning. Ask questions. Allow your children to ask you questions. One, about you, and two, about life, because that's how they learn, and they will watch you doing what you do and have questions. But because children are seen and not heard, we don't allow them. But then there are ways, there's mechanisms where they can be seen and heard, and that's only when you're doing crazy shit to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, for me, education would be a mixture of both. So if you're teaching cooking, food science, yeah, what chemistry is involved in cooking? What maths is involved in cooking? Do you know what I mean? So you utilize all them subjects to show you this is the practical application. If you fry these cashew nuts at too high a temperature, they will burn. Whatever nutrition they've got in them goes. Do you know what I mean? So you're making everything real so that people can see that's real. There's science in that, there's maths in that, there's English in that. How do you pronounce these words? How do you put things together? And it's that process that people are exploring now, whereas before you didn't really, you relied on people in trust, people with academic qualifications to share with you what was true and what was not. But then your experience, your life experience, shows you something completely different. And it's how do you marry the two together? Do you know what I mean? I give thanks that I've had some wonderful teachers. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? So at this point, I can say I've had a pretty varied life that has shown me lots of different things. So one thing is about, you know, broadening your scope of what you choose to experience. Literally, broaden that. Ask questions, explore different things, because it's all out there. And the mad thing is, it's at the touch of a button. But you might read it on Google, but if you haven't experienced it as a physical being, it's just talk. You have to experience it. You have to know what that feels like. Having this kind of food from the other type of food, what does it feel like? What does it taste like? Is it going to make me healthier? Is it not? Do you know what I mean? And it's all of that. And you'll only know by doing it. So, you know, quinoa and chickpeas with honey and salad. Nice. It's nice. Because what they don't tell you is your body changes with the types of food that you eat. Mm-hmm. They never tell you that. You become accustomed to what you put in. So if you change, your body will change, because it's a responsive mechanism. What you put in your mind, they tell you about your mind, but 90% of the memory is in your body. It's in your cells. It's not in your brain. Mind ain't just your head. You know, it's out there. Research, ask questions. Ask questions, that's the most important thing I would say. Ask questions, and don't stifle your kids from asking questions. Because the only difference between my generation and the young ones now is that they're not afraid to say what they feel and what they think. but we don't encourage them to ask questions. Only in school or college or uni. We don't give them that wisdom. And it's important upon adults to give young people the benefit of life lessons that they've learned. Not saying they've got to repeat it in the same way, but it's giving them the benefit of having a different perspective that can help them. And it's a two-way conversation. It's never one way. I'm learning so much from my children. It's unbelievable.
What they say, we never stop learning, do we?
No.
We never stop learning.
So
So again, guys, I think, again, that's been about, what, 20 minutes? Half an hour again. Quick, easy, delicious food here. Again, cashew nuts, quinoa, chickpeas, peppers. We got peas, carrots, and onion. Alright, that's what we got there. So we're gonna
Garlic.
yeah, sorry, I forgot the garlic as well. So again, I'm gonna share this out now.
garlic's good for you, cleansing your chest.
So again, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today. Our little topic that we've had. Horace said he thinks he's talked too much. I don't think he has. I think he's done great. Again, guys, this is Breaking Bread. A place where we can talk, we can eat, and we can share ideas. Because the whole concept of this program here is to invite people around to my house. We can cook and we can talk about topics that's basically affecting everybody, affecting us as individuals, affecting our families. And again, like for me, I have my own kids, so a lot of things affect me more than probably somebody else who hasn't got kids. So again, I think it's a good thing for us to conversate, swap ideas, and look how we can do things differently and how we can build as a nation of people, and how we can work together. Because I think a lot of it boils down to standing up for basically what we believe in and working together. So the concept of like education. The reason why I was saying about education, I think it's not changed, because I feel as if like as I'm being an adult now, I feel as if like if I learned certain things when I was a kid, it would have made a lot of things a lot bit easier for me. So I think them things are not being changed. They're still teaching the same way in schools. So I feel as if like, yeah, that could be different. And teaching kids to not just spend the money all the time, try and learn to save. Because a lot of us adults, we don't know how to save, and that's the first thing that gets us in problems, because we don't know how to put a bit of money aside for a rainy day. So yeah, so this is us here. I'm gonna wash a bit of salad.
So much vegetables.
Vegetables are good for you. Did you not know most drugs that people take have originated in plants? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are vegetables if not plants? Yeah. You've got all of this. Each one of these plants, fruits, veg, have some kind of medicinal impact on your system. But they don't teach you that at school. They will teach you. When I used to go to school, they used to have school dinners. They used to have a big canteen and a big kitchen, and they cook the food at school. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the food was peng. Sorry. It was. The food was banging. Yeah. They've got rid of the school meals. So in school now, they've got vending machines with carbonated drinks. Yeah? Lucozade, Ribena, rare, full of aspartame, full of sugar. Full of sugar. And then they got chocolates. And if they have got food, yeah, it's processed, pre-packed food. Yeah? full well that processed pre-packed food is absolutely packed in. It's rubbish. So then you fooled yourself full of sugar.
You're so proud of yourself.
It's not there, but it's nice.
That's
Got
banging
the
food.
plate there.
That is
So
food.
again, guys, Horace Jones, the game changer, breaking bread, another delicious meal. We're here again on Friday at the same time, 5 o'clock. I have another guest. Again, I'm not too sure basically what we're going to be talking about because these are not scripted discussions. We just talk and what comes out, comes out. Guys, any comments, throw the comments in there. Anything you want to talk about, we can talk about. Anything that you feel that needs discussion, hit me up and let me know. Again, guys, share the video. Tell your friend, tell another friend. Again, I'm here again next week with another incredible recipe. Again, hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, under $5. Got everything that you need, your body needs. Guys, hope you paid attention. Have a wonderful day. Again, I want to say thank you to Barrington for coming. I want to say thank you to my daughter, even though she's coughing every 5 minutes on the video. And yeah, I want to say thank you to myself. So again, guys, have a wonderful day. Blessed, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you.